Hello right bags, it's Jade. Welcome to a Drake Hollow video. Today I'm going to be explaining what I really enjoy about this game. I've been playing it for around 2 weeks now, lots of little let's play videos, and it is still just a beta. There's much more to come. I've been asking the devs a bunch of questions as well, because I really want to get behind it. I really think this is a great little game, and I want to tell you why it should be on your radar. So make sure you're liking the video, and let's crack on with everything you need to know about Drake Hollow. When I first heard about Drake's Hollow, it kind of looked a bit maybe like Fortnite, and I wasn't that interested. I saw something to do with Drakes. I didn't realise it had such a good survival component to it, but it does. You don't have to worry about food and water for yourself, but you do have to take care of these cute, lovable Drakes. They need food, they need water, they need entertainment, and this is where it really starts to flesh out. You go around gathering resources, crafting lots of items, and basically trying to level your Drakes up so that you can unlock more items. The bigger your camp level, the more items you unlock, and you do that by making sure that your Drakes are happy and you help them to grow. In the Hollow there is a bad guy though, and that is the Corrupted. These Stranger Things style enemies are quite frankly a bit unnerving sometimes. Particularly when you're running through the mists using a potion and you see all these tendrils or branches imbued with this red horrible infection. There's a variety of different enemies, and during the sandbox beta version I played, there was quite a few I came into contact with that were pretty tough. Right now the combat isn't the most involved. It does rely on you just finding lots of different melee weapons, or there's definitely a choice in range weapons too, but the combat itself is pretty simplistic. It's simply just mash one button, press it, and that's it. Do away with the blighted. In the beta at least anyway. But the rest of the mechanics are so good in terms of going out there, crafting, finding resources. You won't necessarily be able to build your own special Fortnite style big base, but you can lay out a nice decent camp and you can protect it with all sorts of things like fence posts. You can even get generators that will power up your camp, and there's all sorts of different crafting stations that you can unlock. It's a co-op game. You're going to be able to play up to 4 players, or you can still go ahead and just play it single player. It's going to be cross-play between Xbox and Windows 10. It will be available on Steam as well, but there will be no cross-play between Steam and Xbox or Windows 10. PlayStation 4 fans, don't be too sad. There is a chance it may come to that system in the future, but they're just focusing right now on the systems they've announced. It's also going to be part of the Games Pass on Xbox as well. So if you've got that, it's literally a bargain. The beta ends on June the 14th. You can apply and still play it if you sign up to their email and newsletter. Once you've confirmed that you want to receive the newsletter, you will usually get a key the next day. There's a Discord as well, and I'm going to advertise this heavily because I really liked my time. I've done a bunch of stuff on my Let's Plays. I watched my girlfriend play it quite a bit too, and I just really enjoyed it. It's a just nice little crafty cozy game. You can grow crops and food for your Drakes. You have to make sure they've got good supplies of water and lots of entertainment, and juggling how many pieces can fit in your camp with exactly what you need is good. And you can build up yourself little reservoirs, little items, and get big upgrades for all your stuff too. If it's still looking a little bit too much like a queue overload, well, like I said, there are plenty of enemies in the game. Them enemies, the blighted, they are pretty scary at times, and the music is really good. It's really sort of settling and unnerving at the same time. The atmosphere is pretty spot on. Now that infection is actually called the aither, and you're pretty much got to take down areas and reduce that aither from the infecting close to your camp or the rest of the world. Doing this means that you'll get more access to more craftable resources that will be delivered to you on these giant massive beams of light. You can use these to pretty much set your own travel points. Literally skating across them is super fun, and you get to decide exactly how and where they go. You can craft what they call waypoints and set out your own production lines. You'll find various vans dotted around the landscape, and this will provide you with a bunch of different resources. You just got to be able to craft enough waypoints to make it back so there's a good connection going all the way back to your camp, which you will be able to move and place around when the full game is here. You'll also find resources in things like cars and trolleys as well, and these are like general resources that you need to build certain things like wood, metal, electronics, etc. On top of that, there is a bunch of potions, a bunch of consumables, and lots of magical items that you can make as well. You'll gain access to a bunch of these by leveling up your camp and collecting what the Drakes give you, which is charms. Every time you go and pet your Drake and leave them a little while, they generate charms, and they'll also give you some buffs. Each Drake's got its own individual buff that it will give you, Some might give you extra melee damage, some will give you the chance not to use up any of the crystals, and it's a nice little loop. You go out there, you explore the world, you come back, you level up your drakes, you unlock more items, get some decent buffs, and you use that to take on the Aether and the Blighted. Now the sandbox mode they've been using as the beta is going to be coming to the full game, but it might not be there just at launch. It looks like what they have got is a little bit more structured story, but it's not going to be too overbearing. They're calling it the campaign, and it's going to have multiple biomes and multiple seasons, so there'll be lots of different weather types, I'm guessing, with that. And this will have an effect on the gameplay, so there could be some decisions that you're going to have to make, or it might affect the outcome. They've said it's a lightweight story, and it's going to explain the Hollow, the Drakes, and everything that's going on, as there's not too much of an explanation while you're playing just in this sandbox mode. But I could easily see the sandbox mode being a firm favourite with fans, especially if they get the kind of level right with the threats from the Aether. So you can see zipping around on these is pretty fun. You can customise your character a bunch of different ways, as well as earn lots of cosmetics by finding them out in the world. On PC, on Steam, unfortunately there's not going to be any mod support added in. They do have Steam Cloud Save though, of course, but there's going to be no crossplay between Steam and Xbox. But you will be able to crossplay between Windows 10 and an Xbox. There's no split screen, unfortunately. That would have been nice. I feel like that could have been something really cool, and that's going to be the same on Xbox and Steam, no split screen. So without trying to sell like I'm really trying to sell it to you, I just really enjoyed it. Like I said, it was really cool. The atmosphere is pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. There's a sense of urgency. You get these little alerts that pop up that say your camp is about to be attacked. And so you have this kind of loop, a bit like 7 Days to Die, where you've got the horde coming in and you've got to protect them. The enemies will pretty much go and try and destroy all your camp pieces and crafting stations, and it's up to you to defend them areas. If you let the Aether get too close or overwhelm the islands around you, I do believe you start getting more and more raids coming in. Or it reduces how much of a resource you've got coming in through your supply lines. And so that loop is always there. While you're exploring, maybe looking for the next thing that's going to help you upgrade or level up your drakes or your camp, you've got to pay attention and make sure that you're not getting raided. But there's a variety of different ways to get across. You've seen the waypoints, they've also got really fast travel little charms. And all in all, it's just a cool little experience. A few things they probably do need to work on is maybe the combat a little bit. It is just still a little bit too repetitive. There's melee and the range fares a little bit better. There's a bit more choice and it looks a bit more different using like a water balloon gun, or whether or not it's going to be a simple bow and arrow. Whereas the melee weapons all have their own stats. Some of them are going to have more DPS, others are going to have more durability. They've all got durability eventually, so they will break. So you're always going to have to go out and find some more. There also looks like they're going to be adding in various different legendary style weapons in the game too. And I'm guessing these will be earned while you're completing the campaign. But the combat, the melee combat particularly, was just a bit repetitive. There wasn't too much scope for doing any sort of combos. The enemies themselves are pretty involved. There's lots of different types even in the beta, and from what I've seen from some of the promotional stuff going around, it looks like there's going to be even more enemies than what I've seen. As you progress your camp, as you get higher and higher and explore more and more and open up more waypoints, you will again be more susceptible to attacks, and it really just ends up being the main core, the main loop. How the campaign will actually work, it's going to be interesting. The idea that the seasons might affect stuff, maybe it will mean you have to pay attention to the cold, I'm not too sure. Even if it's just aesthetically changing things up, that could be good too. I really like the atmosphere, but for sure after sinking about 12 hours into the beta or watching my fiance play it, I definitely was looking for a new biome. But bearing in mind, this is just the beta. I really appreciate that Molasses, the company, pretty much have done this just so openly. How many games companies let you play a proper beta? That's not just some marketing tool. They've kept it running for a good few weeks. You didn't have to even pre-order to take part, you simply had to sign up to their newsletter. I think this is a really good approach and I've got to praise them for that. They've been taking a bunch of feedback on board and been pretty communicative in their Discord as well. I like the art style. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's definitely not that bad. I quite like the look of it. It is a little bit Fortnite-esque, but it's not the end of the world. I think it was originally meant to be a sequel directly to their first game, Flame in the Flood, but then it evolved and changed and they decided to make it its own beast. And I'm really pleased about that. There's no wording on price yet. It does look like it's going to be a Peggy 7 and a Everyone 10. but I can't imagine it's going to be too expensive, and as I said, it is on the Games Pass, so you'll be able to play it for pretty much cheap. So there we go, that is everything you need to know about Drake Hollow. Taking on the enemies, finding ways to build up your camp and making sure you're managing your resources correctly. Your camps do have a limit in terms of how many placeballs you can have around, and as I said, quickly get overwhelmed by some of the higher level enemies when they start raiding you. As you go around the rest of the world as well, you'll come across islands that are much higher level, that have a very, very big abundance of enemies, and so it's going to take some considerable time to clear some of them. All the while you're trying to find these drakes, you can bring them back to your home once you've rescued them from the ground, and then you can use their buffs that they give you and get charms from them, which is pretty much a currency to unlock all sorts of magical potions and elixirs and items. They're pretty cute, and I hope they're going to expand on what you can do with the drakes, customise them a little bit maybe more, or at least be able to give them a nickname. Near the time I will do another recap video, and if I find out any more information about the game itself, I'll definitely give you guys that. I may even still show you guys some Let's Play videos. I have still got a bunch of footage that I've got recorded. I thought it was about time I actually gave you my opinion on the beta as it's been going. I'm really critical of some games sometimes, and developers play so many survival games that are just put out there in early access, and they're kind of just absolute jank. But it's so nice to play a game that's going to be a full product. It's not early access, it's not game preview, and it just, I hate to say it, works. It's got some really nice animations. I really like the elements of the crafting, the foraging, and definitely taking on the enemies is a challenge. If they can find ways to make the combat a little bit more involved and a little bit extra interesting, I think it could have a real hit on its hands. And definitely other ways to customise their camps and make them feel even more like it really is your home, your base. Let me know what you think about Drake Hollow. Go and check out my Let's Play videos, and I will see you definitely for launch and some more videos just before then. Until next time, Ratbags, I am the home of survival games on console and the brand new biggest ones coming out on PC. Make sure you got the bell rang if you want to help support the channel, and I'll see you Ratbags later.